Dear students, in this video, I will discuss about the various characters from the story The Little Girl. I will begin with Kezia, the little girl. This little girl, she was a very sensitive child. She always lived in a state of fear and dread of her father. She was not scared of the other members of the family, but she always remained in a state of fear and dread of her father. His presence was never comfortable for her. He looked like a giant to her. She felt a great sense of relief when he went off in his carriage every morning after giving her a perfunctory kick. She did not look forward to his return. Actually, she always tried to avoid his father. She always wanted that he should remain out of the house and not return home. She was intimidated by his loud voice as he demanded his tea and newspaper. Now, father had a very strict voice, or you can say rather a dominating voice, which scared Kezia always. Kezia's movements were slow and hesitant when she was asked to remove his boots, and she stuttered when her father asked her if she had been a good girl. So she never proved herself confident before her father. She always remained nervous before her father. Kezia never realized that the papers she had torn up as stuffing for the pin cushion were very important for father. She was making a gift for her father to be presented to him on his birthday. They were very important papers for father, but she never bothered to ask ever to father or any other member in the house whether she should take the papers or not. When she was made to realize this, she cried bitterly. Yet she was beaten by her father, because at that moment father was so angry he couldn't resist himself from beating her. Though her grandmother assured her that she would forget the beating by morning, the sensitive child did not forget the incident. Actually, what grandmother she tried was always she tried to comfort the little child, and she felt that that was the only way how she could comfort her. If the little child could forget the incident of what father did to her, then maybe she would feel better. So, grandmother tried to comfort her in that way. Kezia longed for love and she wished that her father became like Mr. MacDonald next door, who played merrily with his 5 children. Kezia always compared Mr. MacDonald with her father, and she felt that it was her bad luck that her father was not like him, who spent a lot of time with his children and enjoyed with them. Kezia's feelings for her father changed dramatically when her mother was hospitalized. In the absence of both her mother and grandmother, it was her father who came forward to comfort her when she had a nightmare. So, father was not a hearted person. She realized that he had to work hard every day and so was too tired to play with her. So, beneath his rough and tough exterior, he had a soft and a big heart. This realization made her feel comfortable, and from then onwards, she had no grudges against her father. So, this is all about the little girl that we can say from the story. Now, I will discuss about the father of the little girl. Now, this father, he was a dominating figure in the story. He always expected total obedience from his wife and child and inspired fear and dread in his little daughter. He did not realize that that little child actually needed to be treated very softly, very tenderly, because she was at a tender age. He spoke to her in a loud voice, and this often scared her. So he was somewhere or the other lacking the understanding of feeling her thoughts. He had a loud, commanding voice and used to order everybody in the house. He often instructed his wife to bring him tea, fetch his newspaper, and slippers. He did not show any affection towards his little girl. It was not that he did not love her, but he did not express his affection, but only criticized her for looking miserable all the time. He believed in strict discipline and often beat his child with a ruler for tearing up some papers once, and also for a number of mistakes that she had committed. She committed a mistake. Yes, she made a mistake. She was a child, and at this age, it is nothing abnormal. She apologized for it, but still she was punished by her father. However, his Fatherly instinct was evident at the end of the story when Kezia's mother fell sick and was admitted to a hospital. Grandmother also went to the hospital to accompany mother. At night, Kezia had a nightmare and shouted in her sleep to her grandmother for help. Father had heard her cries and came to her room to comfort her. He showed his affection and care by taking her to his room, tucked her in, made her feel warm, secured, and safe. So that's all about the father that we come to know from the story, The Little Girl. Now, something that I would like to discuss about grandmother, the character in the story, The Little Girl, is that grandmother had a kind and caring nature. Kezia was fond of her grandmother. She always supported her. She was kind to her. She was polite to her. She cared for her a lot. She sensed the child's isolation and need of father's affection for her. She informed Kezia of her father's birthday in the coming week and advised her to make a birthday present for him. She suggested her to make a pin cushion with a beautiful piece of yellow silk. When Kezia was punished by her father for tearing up the important papers, she supported and comforted the child. She wrapped her in her shawl and put her in the rocking chair, told her that she would forget the punishment by morning. But when Kezia had nightmares, she called out to her grandmother for help. She could not attend her as she was not available in the house. Often the old lady comforted Kezia and let her sleep in her bed. When Kezia's mother was hospitalized, she accompanied her. This shows that she supported every member in the family and made herself available to them whenever they needed her. So she also played an important role in the story. I hope, students, you have understood about all the characters of the story, The Little Girl. That's all. Thank you. Have a nice day. Keep practicing.